Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Huge news dump tonight. We have the confirmation for the Fire King Structure Deck R. That's really hype. 8 new cards for any archetype, even if they don't have that good of a start, is huge. That's great for them. Check out the video if you want a few more details on that. But for tonight, we're focusing, for this video at least, we're focusing on AGE of OVERLORD. We get the first official release for this product. We've literally had nothing but the date and the name for this product before. This is the next core set after Duelist Nexus for the OCG. And then it'll come to the TCG. So we have a cover art as well as 7 new cards. It looks like all Pendulum supports here. I can't tell if it's Zark support or what. It's kind of what this art looks like, but I know nothing here. So let's get into it. A bunch of cards to get through. It's Pendulum stuff, so we're probably going to read a bunch. Let's get into it. First off here, I'll start off with Supreme King Gate Magician. I am not super well versed with Pendulum stuff in general, but I know this card has Supreme King in the name. That matters. And Magician in the name. That also matters. Also, artwork-wise, this guy looks pretty sweet. I love it. I like his design a lot. Okay, he's a scale 1. He is a spellcaster, level 7, Pendulum Light. 25,000 for the stats were pretty good, and you can only use the second effect of his Pendulum effect once per turn. Supreme King Z-Arc you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effect. Okay. Actually, I think it already has other protection, so maybe like that on top of the protection it has already makes it pretty insane. Fine. During your main phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place one Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your hand or deck in your Pendulum zone, except for Supreme King Gate Magician. That is pretty good. We've already have multiple cards that kind of work like that just by themselves, right? Pop themselves, then put a card in scale, get you one of your scales while also already loading a monster into your extra deck to Pendulum summon out later. That's solid. That's a good Pendulum effect right there. I'll take it. First effect, I don't think it'll be that relevant. We'll see. First and second effects for the monster effects are hard once per turn. If you have a Supreme King Gate card other than Magician in your Pendulum zone, you can send a Pendulum Dragon, XYZ Dragon, Synchro Dragon, or Fusion Dragon monster from your hand or extract to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Interesting. Okay, so the extension effect from hand, I'm not sure if there's any particular targets that are like really interesting to send here. I really don't know. I don't think there's a ton. I mean, obviously like Dark Worm, but like this card extends itself onto the field, so now Dark Worm's extension effect is dead. But I guess it could be follow-up. If you send Absolute Dragon, does Absolute Dragon count as one of these? I'm not sure even Absolute Dragon counts as one of these targets. I don't even know if it would trigger. It might need to leave field, but I'm thinking about that stuff. I'm not sure if any of that stuff actually works. Let me know if there's any particular send targets that like give you legit value off of this. But other than that, it's like a fine extension. The Pendulum effect puts something in scale by itself, so you can add it back to hand. There's a lot of different Pendulum effects that get stuff back to hand, so that's fine. If this card is special summoned, you can add one card that mentions Supreme King Z-Arc from your deck to your hand, except a spellcaster monster. Now we're talking. So now we're just talking like this card, place it in Pendulum Scale, get another like Pendulum Scale from deck, it goes to extra deck, and if you just pen summon it out, it pluses you 1. That is a good card, period. Now, I don't know the list of cards that mention Z-Arc in their names, but that still seems really strong out the gate. Okay, very cool. That's a good card. I think that's just, for Pendulums, just a good card. Okay, next up here we have a new Dragon Boy. This is of course, Dragon Pendulum Tuner effect monster. Light level 4. This is Supreme King Dragon Lightworm. Ooh, Dark Worm's a good card. I would think this one would follow suit. 1200 attack, 1800 defense. You can only use the effect of its Pendulum effect once per turn. If a monster is special summoned, and you control Z-Arc, and another Pendulum monster, you can special summon this card, then you can choose one other Pendulum monster you control, and the attribute and level of that monster, or this card, become the attribute and level of the other. Interesting. So this is like a weird extension effect, where like if you just special summon something while you control Z-Arc, and, well, if you would have special, you could even say Pendulum Summon, so you guaranteed have a Pendulum monster, and you already were able to get access to Ziyark. Summon this card, then change some levels and attributes there. Interesting. So it's kind of like it does extend itself, which is decent, and then it modifies levels to get you into certain synchro plays. Still a tuner, so that helps there. Interesting. Okay. Okay, monster effects, 2 hard ones per turn effects. If this card is normal or special summoned, add 1 face-up Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your extract to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon or exceed summon 1 Supreme Dragon King monster. That's interesting. Synchro or exceed. Okay, cool. I mean, it does get you a resource from your extract back to hand. Not as good as adding from deck to hand, but still solid there. Second effect, if a face-up Pendulum monster or monsters is destroyed, battle, or card effect while this card is face-up in your extra deck, you can add this card to your hand. Wow. There's not a lot of trigger effects like that in face-up extra deck. Interesting. So add this health back. That's cool. I think this is another good card. I think these are just like 2 pretty decent generic Pendulum monsters. I'm really curious if we're going to be searching the new trap card that just cheats Ziyark out with this card. You only need to play 1 copy of it. It's a pretty powerful card in and of itself. Very interesting. Okay. Moving on here, we move to a new... Oh my god, this card's crazy. This is a Dragon Fusion Pendulum effect monster. It's light, 12 levels. Its attack and defense is 4K, and it is a scale 13? Jeez. Its name is Supreme Celestial King Odd Eyes Arc Ray Dragon. Name is crazy. He looks crazy. He just has so much going on. Let's see what he do. You can only use the Pendulum effect of this card once per turn. If you have 2 cards in your Pendulum zone, okay, you can special summon this card. Then you can shuffle 1 card from your Pendulum zone into the deck. Then if it returned to your extra deck, you can special summon it, ignoring its conditions. Interesting. So you would already have to have this card in scale. I'm assuming it'll have a condition that gets itself in scale. But it can summon itself as long as you have any other card in your scale. Then shuffle the other. But if it was another extract monster, you're just cheating it out at that point. Interesting. Okay. Not bad, but you have to wonder, like, how easy is that to set up? That's always the question. This is a fusion monster that requires 4 dragon monsters. A fusion, a synchro, an exceed, and a pendulum. This card is always treated as Supreme King Ziyark. It's always treated. So does that mean the trap card that just cheats out Ziyark can just summon this guy from extra? Oh, that could make this card crazy. Okay. This face down card in the extra deck must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing a level 12 Dark Supreme King Ziyark. Okay, so they clarify on that. You cannot cheat this card out by the trap card, but you could easily just cheat out the regular Ziyark with the trap card and then tribute it just to summon this guy out. Okay, cool. Not overall like crazy to summon, but I know if you're not cheating Ziyark via trap, which is a little bit slow, his summoning requirements are like crazy. So that's definitely like making this seem a little more anime-y to me at the moment. But here we go. If this card is special summoned from the extract, you can place 1 Pendulum monster from your deck into your Pendulum zone. Wow, that's a really powerful. Second effect, if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, place it in your Pendulum. So that's how you get it into the Pendulum zone for the Pendulum effect to fire. Okay. There's a lot going on here. This is a very anime-esque card because it requires you to summon Ziyark first. And the best way currently to summon Ziyark, as far as I know, is the trap card that cheats him out. Otherwise, you have to use like a ton of resources just to get him out. He requires just too much. I think this is a more anime-y card. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, moving on here, we have Pendulum Evolution. This is searchable. There's a card that searches Pendulum spell or traps, I believe. This is a continuous spell. All three effects, hard once per turn. You can shuffle a Pendulum monster from your hand into the deck to add a Pendulum monster with 2,500 attack and a different name from your deck to your hand. That's not bad. For a continuous that can just fire every turn, and put any Pendulum back, that could be certain Pendulum bricks you play, to just get... It's specifically a 2,500 attack one, so that has to be something a little bit more specific, but still, that could still be good. Second effect, if you special summoned a face down Pendulum monster from your extra deck this turn, you can activate this effect immediately after it resolves. Pendulum summon a monster. Weird. That effect is so weird. If you special, so this is just an ignition effect. Like, as long as you have a special summon to face down Pendulum monster from extra deck. Huh. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever even actually seen anybody actually pen summon face down. Can you even pen summon face down? Very, very strange. But it gets you an extra pen summon, which is interesting. Okay, third effect, you can target one Supreme King Zeark you control. It can attack all opponents' monsters once each this turn. Okay, cool. Maybe. The search effect isn't terrible, but it's a 1-for-1. Technically a -1, but in first turn, with the speed of the game, it's technically like a -1. Just okay. Weird card. Next up here we have the Light Winged Dragon, a quick play spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. During the main phase, add one Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Or, if you control Supreme King Zeark, you can special summon it instead. This card's super interesting because I believe this can just grab Darkworm. And I know it's not summoning it, but just like searching Darkworm 1 during draw phase so you can't get controlled. And then being able to resolve Darkworm to go again. I mean, this is a +1. It does take your normal summon, but it does give you consistency to find that normal summon. That's not bad. I think this card's actually pretty good. Cool. All right, into some traps. We have Miracle of the Supreme King. Normal trap. If you control Zeark, activate one of these effects. Destroy a Supreme King Zeark you control. And if you do, special summon an Odd Eyes monster or one light Supreme King Zeark from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. I'm assuming that's just the new one. Yeah, it's a way to like cheat out the new one. Place one face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck into your Pendulum zone. That seems terrible. Set one quick play spell from your deck. Now this is slow. This is a trap card, but setting any quick play spell is something that's interesting. The first effect to me is the most interesting one, but still requires too much. You know what I mean? You have a deck that's trying to get you to put Zeark on the field, but his conditions are so brutal. Final card here we have is Soul of the Supreme Celestial King. This is a normal trap card. You can only fit with one card with its name. Tribute a Spellcaster Pendulum monster with 2,500 original attack to fusion summon a Supreme King Zeark from your extra by banishing materials listed on it from hand, deck, extra field, and or graveyard. But its effects are negated unless one each of your Pendulum, Exceed, Synchro, and Fusion Dragons are currently banished. So you're probably cheating them out, but it's probably not going to have its effects, which is kind of a bummer. But it does give you another way to cheat him out, which is fine. All in all, the support to me, kind of like I expected when I saw anime Pendulum support. I expected it to be pretty anime-y. That being said, I do think both the Pendulum monsters have some legs here. I do think they could actually come up into Pendulum builds. And I would also say the quick play spell, being a searcher for Darkworm / Gate 0, or I guess another gate, I don't know the other gates, is interesting as well. Those to me, competitively speaking, are the most interesting cards. Obviously, though, I said at the beginning of the video, I said at the top, I'm no professional Pendulum player. So please let me know down below if there is some extra use from these cards, a particular use that I didn't make note of here that you think actually could be relevant as it pertains to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And how, Pendulums might be able to evolve with these cards. I'd love to hear new, little notes on that stuff down below. But to me, those are my impressions. The two Pendulum monsters, the main deck ones, and the quick play spell have some legs. The rest, very anime-y. Not too worried about those. But that's everything I have today. Honestly, I never expect too much from the cover art support for these structure deck, or for these core sets. Darkwing Blast hit really hard. That was really good for Blackwings, but other than that, we haven't seen great support from the cover art stuff. It's more so just a signifier that yes, we are moving into the next era, the next core set. this is just it. We'll probably have a week or two before Konami actually starts pushing forward by releasing more and more support and information from the new set. And, you know, that's really the more exciting thing for me. So that's everything here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. Just like I said, just anything on this. Let me know your thoughts down below on this stuff. I will see you guys in the next video. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. I am bringing you news literally anytime anything important drops. So subscribe to the channel to stay updated on that stuff. And I will be with you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.